This video provides an overview of pulling rope with a Sherman+Reilly Heritage Series Plw 200H. Before operations, perform all pre-operation inspections. Be sure to read and understand the instructions in the operator's manual before operating the machine. The Plw 200H is capable of pulling up to 2,000 pounds of force at the top of drum for a single drum. If pulling two drums simultaneously, then it's 1,000 pounds per drum, and all four drums can pull 500 pounds per drum. Each pulling drum has a drive coupling to engage and disengage the drum. There cannot be any load on the brakes or against the hydraulic drive when engaging or disengaging the pulling drums. Ensure all ropes are tied off and secured before releasing any brakes or engaging or disengaging the drums. Fully release the payout brakes and safety brakes. Engage the drum drive coupler and lock into place for the pulling drum or drums being used. It may be necessary to jog the drum to get the teeth to align. Push the drum drive coupling control lever all the way forward. The button on top of the lever will release to lock it. The drum drive coupling control levers have a spring lock safety button feature that will hold it in place. To position the level wind, the unit must be turned on. See the operator's manual for startup instructions. On the control panel, activate the level wind, street side or curb side by pressing the level wind selector switch. An optional level wind sync switch can be used to select both the curb side and street side level winds to operate simultaneously. Place the pulling rope through the level wind head and secure all rollers and retaining pins. Apply the safety brake if it is not applied already. Reset system pressure by turning the system pressure control all the way left, counterclockwise, setting the pressure to 0. With the safety brake applied, pull back slightly on the drum speed direction control lever. Set the system pressure to a low pressure range, sub 500 psi. With the drum speed and direction control lever still pulled back slightly, release the safety brake. Pull in any unwanted slack in the rope by slowly pulling back on the drum speed and control lever to begin drum rotation. Return the drum control lever to center neutral to stop rotation. Reapply the safety brake. After taking in the slack rope and reapplying the safety brake, release the tie-offs. The machine is now set up for pulling. When pulling the first rope conductor run, the needed pressure pull force to pull the line is unknown. Pulling this first line will reveal the amount of pressure and pulling force needed for subsequent pulls. When the tensioning unit on the other end of the pull gives the go-ahead, pull back on the drum speed direction control lever to set your pulling speed, and release the safety brake. Slowly turn up the system pressure until the drum begins to move and the pull line begins pulling. When the pull line begins pulling, closely note the system pressure. Increase the system pressure line pulling force by slowly turning up the system pressure approximately another 20%. For example, if you're pulling at 500 pounds, add another 100 pounds. If you're pulling at 1,000 pounds, add another 200 pounds. The extra system pressure provides extra pulling force should the swivel conductor encounter higher resistance at a block. Keep a close eye on the system pressure for the first line pulled. The system pressure will generally be the pull force needed for the additional conductors, assuming all other factors are equal. As more conductor is pulled through the block, there will be more conductor weight and more system pressure will be required to keep the line moving smoothly. As needed, slowly adjust the system pressure higher to maintain smooth line pulling. Adjust the drum speed for the desired speed as necessary. Manage the lay of the pulling rope using the level wind control. The level wind requires constant operator input. The operator controls the lateral side-to-side movement of the level wind. Note, the level wind lateral lever is proportional. The further it is moved, the faster the level wind will move. Use caution not to extend the level wind fair lead head beyond the flange of the drum. Continue to closely monitor system pressure throughout the pull. Use the chart to estimate the pull force on the pulling rope. Engine throttle control is managed automatically by the control system depending upon the power demand. The RPM on the engine can also be increased or decreased from the system engine control screen. To adjust the engine working RPM higher or lower than the default, use the existing set points. Or use the speed adjustment up and down arrows to change in 100 RPM increments. Either way will set the working RPM. When the engine is restarted, the working RPM setting will return to the default 2600. In the event of an emergency, the emergency stop button can be used to stop all operations and shut down the machine. Once the conductor is pulled through the final structure and caught off, release tension by paying out the bowl line hydraulically with the drum speed control lever and provide appropriate slack to disconnect the swivel and bowl line. Once the pull of this first line is complete, set the safety brake to the apply position. Return the drum speed and direction control lever to the center neutral position. After the first line is pulled, the target system pressure pulling force needed for pulling subsequent lines is established and can be used as a guide. Repeat this process for other bowl lines and conductor phases. Once all lines are pulled through and operations have concluded, shut down the machine, turn the keyed master power key switch to off. Secure the conductor according to your company policy. This concludes the video overview for pulling with the Plw 200H. Be sure to read and understand the operator's manual before conducting any operations. And thank you for choosing Sherman+Reilly.